What is up guys, welcome everyone to a new golf making video. So in this one I'm gonna be showing you what I think it's one of the best solo Transmog golf farms that you can be doing as of now. And in this one you're gonna have a chance to get some epic items that are really expensive. Some of them are going for like 200k, 300k and above in the majority of the realms. And they're really nice looking items, right? So let's take a look at these items on the auction house. And as you can see, I have 3 different epic items here. Although there are actually quite a few of some others, but they are just not as relevant. They're worth some gold, but they are not really that relevant, right? These ones are the ones that I have seen that they are the most valuable ones, right? So first thing I want to say, the price is not really making sense, meaning this item is not necessarily the one that is the best out of the 3, right? It really varies a lot from one realm to another. But one thing that is sure is that the majority of these items, they are going for like 200k, 300k in the majority of the realms, right? So just to make that clear, these are valuable, but the price really varies a lot from one realm to another. And in this one especially, which is one with very high population, there's a lot of offers posted and the prices are really low, right? In general. But yeah, this one we have the Hood of Empty Eternities. I believe this is the coolest item you can find here because as you can see, it hides your entire face by some light, right? That looks really interesting, right? So even though it appears to be relatively cheap in my realm compared to the region sale average, usually these ones are going for a little bit more than the region sale average in majority of the places, right? So this is a really nice item. Then we have the Lupin Synthetic Headgear, which as you can see, very nice looking, really interesting, really unusual, right? Um, so yeah, pretty decent. Then we have this one, the Devouring Pellicle shoulder pads. These ones are interesting because there's like this broken ball, right, that is constantly spinning in both of the shoulders. And overall the design looks pretty decent, right? But yeah, all of these items are gonna be unique appearances. They're also going to be only dropping in this farm that we're gonna be showing in this video. There's nowhere else on the entire game that you can get these items to drop. So for that reason, these are really valuable, right? So let's take a look. We're gonna be doing a raid, okay, an old content raid in the Southlands expansion, right? Now, do not worry if you have not done anything regarding Shadowlands, if you have not done the campaign or anything like that, because in theory you could require this to do this farm, but I'm gonna show you a trick that is gonna allow you to basically unlock this area without doing absolutely anything, right? It's a little trick, little hack that I have, that I know, gonna be very useful for this, right? So first of all, let's take a look at the NPC that we are going to be needing to talk with. It's going to be located here. There's going to be an NPC here called Tilefar. Okay. So you basically talk with this guy, and this guy is going to allow you to get teleported into different parts of different raids, right? It's not as straightforward when it comes to the raids, because for example, all these items that I have shown you, they are dropping in a raid called the Sepulcher of the first ones, but the thing is, guessing by that name, you cannot really know which one is the one that you have to choose. So I have already looked up all of these, and basically there are 4 of these that correspond to the Sepulcher of the first ones, which are the last 4 options, right? Ephemeral Plains, Cornerstone of Creation, Domination's Grasp, and the Grand Design, right? Now, the Grand Design, you don't want to do it. This is not worth it, right? The other 3 we want to do. The reason we want to do these 3 and not the last one is because we are interested only in mobs that are not considered, bosses basically, but all the other things, right? So either normal mobs or elite mobs, right? Those are items that have the chance of dropping you these BOE items that are really expensive, right? So knowing all of this, I'm going to be showing you the first one as example. But before we do that, I'm going to be mentioning one thing. I'm not entirely sure if you can do this without the latest expansion, without the midnight expansion, because the mobs are level 60, but they are kind of tough, you know. If you have midnight and you are level 90, as I am now, as long as you have literally any items, right? Like I have really, really low intel level as of now. Majority of the people are going for like 200 intel level or so. But even then, with this item level, you're gonna be able to do the entire race without any problem at all, right? The best thing about this is that as of now, this is the sweet spot, right? Because you don't actually require to learn any of the mechanics for the bosses. All of them are very straightforward. You need to learn complicated stuff in order to dodge spells, whatever. None of that, right? You can just basically run through the wraith and pretty much one shot the bosses in 5-10 spells or so, right? You're gonna be able to kill them really fast, right? And the rest of the mobs, they're gonna die like 1, 2, maybe 3 attacks at most, right? If you have any normal GR, which is 150 and above as of now, right? I just leveled this. I haven't even changed the items. But as of now, in the autumn house, there are BOEs that are like item level like 200 something, and they are for like 400 gold. You can just buy a few of those, and you are already super GR for this, right? But yeah, so yeah, let's go into the first one, and I'm gonna explain how are we gonna do this, right? So first of all, and actually let me show you before we do that, before we go into this thing, let me show you real quick. So there are actually different recolors depending on the difficulty that we run this raid on for each of the items, right? So I'm gonna be showing you, for example, the Hood of Empty Eternities. Okay, I cannot really show you because there are not multiple ones, but what about the Lupin synthetic? Okay, so this one you can see there are multiple ones with different item levels. Usually this doesn't matter for all content items, but for this one it does matter, right? Because it's gonna affect the appearance of the item. So you can see this one, for example, it has like little blue gem on it. This one has like a red one, right? And like different different color for the border as well, right? And so on, right? I mean, it's good knowing that there are different versions, but I just want to let you know all of them are valuable and all of them have demands, right? So do not over worry too much about which one to choose. They vary a lot from one realm to another. Maybe maybe the one that is the normal version is the most expensive in your realm. Maybe it's the mythic one. Maybe it's the looking for raid, or maybe it's the heroic, right? Because there are in total 4 versions, right? Looking for raid, normal, heroic, and mythic, right? So I'm gonna be explaining how you can actually farm all of these, right? But to begin with, let's go with the first version here, with the tell me the one about the ephemeral planes for the looking for raid version, which is the one that this NPC is giving us, right? Now it's a bit tricky because it's saying that we are queued into something, right? Kind of like queued for a raid or something, but in reality you are instantly gonna get this popping up because we're not actually waiting for anybody. You are just alone doing this, which is good, right? Because you don't have to wait. Okay, so once that we are here, basically you can just go and run the raid as it is. You can just literally go and start the raid, right? I'm gonna show you real quick. You get close to these mobs, they start activating, and then you can start hitting them, right? You can see they are super fast to kill, right? And I'm not even really geared at all, right? So yeah, you just continue, you continue killing the mobs, killing the bosses, and everything until the end, right? That's pretty much the way to run the LFR. Then you can just go back by clicking here, leave instance group, right? And this is going to teleport you back to the NPC, and then you can run each of the different wings of the wraith or the different parts of the wraith, with the exception of the last one that is called the Grand Design. We don't want to do that because that one is only a boss. It doesn't have any of the mobs that we are interested in, right? So that's the way that you can basically run the 4 different versions of the Wraith Finder, right? Now, before I get into details of how to run the other versions, I'm going to explain one thing, okay? The way these old content raids work is that basically you can do all of these once per character, or I'm not even sure if it's per character, I believe it's per realm, okay? So let's say that it's per realm. Basically you do once of these difficulties per week, okay? So you can do one of the LFR, one normal, one heroic, and one mythic, and that's it, right? Now, when does it actually reset? It resets once per week, okay? But it doesn't start counting the moment you do this. So let's say that today is Tuesday, right? And you might be thinking, well, I'll just do the race today, and then the next Tuesday is gonna be, unlocked again for me, right? Well, it doesn't work that way. It works in a way that basically there's like a fixed time on each of the servers it varies depending if you are US, EU, or whatever, right? Whatever region. But there's a fixed reset timer for this thing. So, maybe you do it on Tuesday and maybe you get lucky and the reset is on Wednesday and you can just run it again tomorrow, right? So it's something like that. Just so you're aware, it's a bit tricky for people that don't know, it's confusion. So if you didn't know, now you know how it works, right? Now, having said all of that, you might be thinking, okay, how do we actually get to the normal, heroic, and mythic difficulties, right? Well, I'm going to explain a little bit, okay? I'm going to explain a little bit because it's a bit tricky. So first of all, this area, Seren Mortis, right? This area is actually gonna, in theory, require you to have done the campaign questline, which I have not done, because I'm doing a trick which is gonna allow you to not do any of this, okay? To not do any of this campaign stuff. Absolutely none of it is gonna be required. But what I wanna say is here normally you cannot get out of the raid. Like if you try to get out of the raid, this is gonna take you back to the NPC, right? And in order to change the difficulty, you need to go out and then change it, right? So I'm gonna be showing you now how to do this because there's a little trick that, by the way, is going to work for all the old content raids that you do in the future, and it's really useful, right? So you basically click here again. You go into the well, let me. This is kind of bugs because it's saying that I'm not the leader in the group, but I'm the only one. So I'm gonna leave the instance group. We're just gonna go again, right? You don't need to do this, by the way. This stuff of like entering and going out and entering. It's just for sake of explaining that you don't actually get to see the outside area if you try to go out of the race, right? You just go teleported to the. You just get teleported to the NPC. But there's a way to to bypass this, right? So how do we actually get out? Okay, we have to use the housing dashboard and click here on teleport to plots, right? Now you're gonna require to have done the introductory housing questline, but that's like legit 5 minutes, right? That doesn't take any long time. And basically you just get teleported to your house. And once you're here, you're gonna open again the housing dashboard here. And you're gonna click on return to previous location. And what this is gonna do is this gonna put you outside of the instance, right? It's gonna put you at the beginning of the instance on the outside, right? Well, at the beginning, at the entrance, basically. And once you are here, the first thing that you need to do is get out of your current raid finder thing. So you click here, the green eye, you click leave instance group, and now you are completely free to, by the way, roam this area if you would be interested. But basically, when it comes to the raid and the gold farm, is you can right click your character here, you can click on raid difficulty, and as you can see, there are the three options, right? The normal, the heroic, and the mythic, right? So this is really cool. As you can see, you can run all the difficulties without any of the campaign questline and stuff, right? Really, really nice gold farm, right? I mean, it's very easy to do, right? It doesn't have any special requirements, by the way. You can do this on pretty much any character, especially because even though druids are slightly better for these ones because they are basically faster in the cat form, the thing is that you can actually run most of the race, well, most of the different parts of the race on a mount, right? So you can just be on any character and you can just, drop your mount and it's going to be quite efficient, right? Regardless of the class that you are doing, right? Now, about how much time does it take? I mean, it's hard to tell, right? Because I was running, for example, a bit of speed items. Now they're actually giving me less speed because I just leveled up this character and the scaling chains and so on. So it's kind of tricky to say, but it's basically, I mean, it's gonna take a little bit of time each of the different parts, maybe like 10 minutes, maybe like 15 minutes. Somewhere around that, maybe a little bit more, right? But yeah, the important thing is that all the time you're gonna be constantly, killing a lot of mobs that are gonna have the chance of dropping you these items, right? Now the chance is going to be low, right? Like on average, let's say that you run all the parts, all the three parts, you probably don't get an item, right? But whenever you get one of these items, the value is gonna be super good, right? Like you can maybe run this 2 or 3 times, right? And then maybe you get one of these items, right? And they are going for like 200k, 300k in out of realms, right? So the gold per hour you're gonna do of this gold farm, it's going to be absolutely amazing, right? Now, what is the downside to this type of gold farms? And if you're a Transmog farmer, you already know this, right? But I'm gonna explain it regardless. So these items overall, they are very slow sellers, right? You have to be aware of this, right? These are not the type of items that you're gonna be able to instantly sell. They're gonna take a while, you know. You need to wait until there's the proper buyer, which understands that this is a valuable item and they have to pay quite a bit for it. That's the thing, right? But yeah, other than that, you have to really be patient, right? You have to be expecting to repost these weeks, most likely months in the majority of the times. And, you know, I mean, it's hard to tell, right? Exactly how long it's going to take, but on average, you should expect probably like more than 1 month, more than 2 months, something like that, right? But yeah, this one, for example, we can see the sell rate because probably there was like a relatively recent sale. And it's not extremely bad, you know, it's 0 to 0.19, which is okay for an out content item. It's gonna sell really slow, as I'm saying, but it's not gonna be extremely bad, right? Like it could be worse, right? So for example, if you get this item, it's going to be really good, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the gold farm. That's pretty much the video, guys. I hope you found this video useful. Don't forget to consider leaving a like and subscribe if you wanna see more videos like this, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye bye.